Alright, so generally the fastest way to clear all the men out of a fragrance store is to tell them that all the fragrances have the note rose in them.
Get out! Run! Keep moving!
Today I'm here to tell you, don't be afraid of the note rose. Some of the most fantastic fragrances that you're missing out on include a rose note in them. I'm going to give you 6 different fragrances that all have the note rose in them, and they all lean a little bit masculine. It's okay, you don't have to be afraid. It's just a fragrance. I'm going to give you my 2 cents. Let's get going. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sean. This is my 2 cents. If you're a new viewer, then welcome. And if you've already seen the videos, then welcome back. Before we get started, I do want to say if you are a fan of fast-paced fragrance reviews and you are not already subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. The algorithm really appreciates it when you do that, and so do I. Also, if you're not following me on Instagram and TikTok and you would like to follow me over there, here is the handle. It's my 2 cents official. Go over there, click subscribe or follow or whatever it tells you to do. I would really appreciate it. All right, that said, let's get started. Let's talk about the rose. Why does the rose have such a bad reputation when it comes to men's fragrances? Men will hear the word rose in a fragrance and they will instantly walk away. They're going to think it's going to smell romantic or feminine or immediately powdery. And that assumption right there has cost men some of the most incredible fragrances. When rose is blended together with leather, with oud, with spices, it becomes something else entirely. Okay, and so today I'm here to break down 6 different rose-based fragrances for men that you should not be afraid of. You definitely should go out and try. Let's get started. I do want to say, there is a stark difference between the fragrances that I'm going to talk to you about today and the traditional rose fragrance such as Elledaria by Creed. There is nothing about this fragrance that is reminiscent about the fragrances you're going to learn about today. All right, so that said, let's get started with the first fragrance on the list. This is not a ranked list. This is just going to be 6 fragrances that I really want to introduce you to. Some of them you may know, some of them you will not. We're going to start off with one of those that I think you probably don't know. It's by the House of Montale. As you know, Montale has done oud fragrances mixed with absolutely everything. So it should come as no shock that Montale has also mixed oud with rose. The fragrance that I want to introduce you to, a little known fragrance from several years back, this is called Oud Damascus. So as I've said, the perfumer here is Pierre Montale. He has mixed oud with absolutely anything that you can possibly think of, and he does it very well. This fragrance here is one of those rose oud fragrances, and as we know, rose and oud have been done a number of different ways, and a lot of times quite successfully. Think Jo Malone's Velvet Rose and Oud, or think Caron's Veil by Argos. This one here does it really simply. The notes in this are pretty much just rose, oud, and safflower. So what you've got with this fragrance is that the rose here is not very light, it's very dark, it's very jammy. The oud here is not very barnyard. Think of something a little bit more medicinal, something a little bit more woody. So this fragrance really takes an interesting turn with that note that I mentioned earlier, the addition of safflower. What the safflower does here is it really smooths out this composition. It adds a slightly powdery, slightly velvety texture without really adding sweetness. And I feel like men should really not avoid a fragrance like this because the rose is not very floral here. It's heavy, it's structural, it's very grounded. Additionally, the oud note here really gives this fragrance backbone and masculinity. The rose is here just to add richness and confidence. I really think if you don't know Oud Damascus by Montale, this is a fragrance that you definitely should try. It's one of their older fragrances, and I think that you can go to some places online and get it for a really reasonable price. I got mine full price at a Montale boutique in Luxembourg, I know of all places. But I go fragrance shopping whenever I travel. Yeah, but this is a fantastic fragrance if you don't know it. It's a dark, woody take on rose. Oud Damascus by Montale, check it out. All right, moving on to the second fragrance. This is by the House of Penhaligon's, and you all know what it is. I really didn't want to include it on here because everybody knows it, and I've already included it on my fall fragrances list, but how do you take a fragrance that's actually named after a city that is known for roses and leave it off a rose fragrance list? If you don't know what I'm talking about, the fragrance that is in the number 2 position here is Halfeti by Penhaligon's. All right, so as I just mentioned, Halfeti is named after a town in Turkey where a specific type of very dark roses grows. They're often called black roses. The name of that town is Halfeti. The perfumer behind this fragrance is Cristian Provenzano, And what you've got inside is you've got a burst of citrus at the beginning. You've got bergamot, you've got grapefruit, you've got some cardamom, saffron, there's cypress, there's Bulgarian rose at the heart, nutmeg, and jasmine. And in the base, you've got really, really dark notes. You've got oud, leather, cedar, sandalwood. You've got some sweetness with tonka and vanilla. So what you've got in this fragrance is you've got something warm, spicy, woody, and very, very polished. The rose is never floral. It just sits inside those spices, those woods, and those leathers, and it just resonates. In recent years, if you've ever walked by a Penhaligon's boutique and you've smelled the fragrance being pumped out of the store, this is it. It's been done a number of different ways. There's a Halfeti leather, there's a Halfeti cedar, and I know one of those two has been discontinued. I think it's the cedar one. And they're coming out with another fragrance. It's Halfeti amber. I don't know when it's going to be released. I did read something online that said it was going to be exclusive to Dubai. I don't know whether or not that's true. If you know anything about it, leave me a comment, please. So the rose in Halfeti is really just about adding depth. If you were to remove the rose from here, you would just have a much flatter smelling fragrance. It wouldn't be any less masculine. The other notes that the rose is combined with, once again, you've got those woody notes, you've got the oud, really add to the character of the rose and really remove it from being a strictly floral rose. This is a fantastic fragrance for men. That's why I don't think you should avoid it if you don't know this fragrance. It smells expensive, it smells confident, it smells composed. This is a perfect example where the rose is used for structure rather than for decoration. And that's why I had to put Halfeti on this list, even though it's really, really popular and a lot of people know it. This is a fantastic rose fragrance for men. If you don't know Halfeti by Penhaligon's, definitely check it out. All right, on to fragrance number 3 on the list. This is from the house of Amouage. The fragrance that I chose has already made an appearance on one of my lists. This is also my unsung hero of Amouage. It's the fragrance that I think doesn't get enough attention and nobody talks about. The fragrance on this list in the 3rd position is Lyric by Amouage. So if you don't know this fragrance, in the top you've got a lot of citrus. You've got lime, you've got bergamot. In the heart you've got the rose, you've got angelica, ginger, saffron, some nutmeg. In the base you've got incense, pine, sandalwood, vanilla, and musk. So as you can expect from Amouage, this is going to be a very deep, resinous rose. It's got the incense note to it. It's ceremonial. It's very serious. This smells to me almost like a very cooling, very dewy rose. This smells very wet. It smells almost like, if you think about a dark rose and you think about the dewdrops that would be on that rose, that's the type of rose that you're getting here. You immediately, like I said, get that citrus burst out of the top, but then it becomes something very dark, very serious, like I said, almost ceremonial. I absolutely love this fragrance. Of the 24 Amouage fragrances that I have in my collection, this was the first one that I got. This is one of the originals. I don't know if the bottle's changed by now. I think it says Lyric on it now. My bottle never even said Lyric except for at the very top here. But yeah, this is a fantastic fragrance. This is a great fragrance for men because the rose here, there is nothing delicate about it. You've got that pine, you've got the incense. They immediately pull that rose into masculine territory. This is one of those fragrances that smells powerful and artistic at the same time. The rose here has presence, it has identity, and it has gravity. You can think of this as sort of an authoritative rose fragrance. This is for a very confident man. I feel like the same thing about Halfeti, which I just introduced you to before this. The rose here sort of gets lost. It's only here to support the other ingredients. It's here to enhance them. It's not here to be the central star here, but you definitely know that it's there. This is one of those fragrances that you're going to go to the Amouage counter and you're going to avoid. You're going to go right for Outlands. You're going to go for Decision. You're going to go for the more popular fragrances. And this does not get the play that it deserves. Lyric Woman is also a fantastic fragrance. I don't own it, but it's one of the best examples of like a makeup lipstick powdery fragrance. It's really, really nice. If you don't know Lyric Woman, check that out as well. But definitely, if you are looking for a masculine rose fragrance, Lyric Man, definitely try it by Amouage. All right, for number 4, we're going real niche. This fragrance does not get a lot of talk. Not a lot of people know about it, but a lot of you in the comments have said something about it. I have filmed an entire review about this fragrance. I have not edited it or posted it yet, but this is so good. If you don't know it, this one's going to really knock your socks off. The fragrance in the 4th place on this list is by Czech Speake, and it's called Number 88. So if you don't know anything about Czech Speake as a company, this is a British perfumery known for their masculine profiles of their fragrances. They have a really nice lavender fragrance. I know there's a really nice vetiver version. This, for me, Number 88, is one of their best, and it's probably one of my favorite fragrances in the cabinets behind me. This is a classic gentleman scent profile. What you've got here in the top is you've got bergamot. In the middle, you've got rose and galbanum. There's some frangipani in there. And in the base, you've got sandalwood and vetiver. This fragrance is clean, it's woody, it's slightly soapy, it smells refined. The vetiver here gives it a soapy quality that makes it feel super, super, super clean on the skin. This is a very linear scent. This is not going to change much during the duration of the wear. When this is on the skin, it feels cozy, it feels polished. Like I said, it doesn't change much. It's got a soapy quality to it. And the rose is here just to enhance those other notes. Think of the rose in this composition as basically a grooming style composition rose, and the rose is here to enhance those other notes. This isn't a bouquet rose, this isn't a floral rose. This is such a subtle rose that's making quite an impact in this fragrance. It smells even more gentlemanly than the three fragrances that I gave to you before this. This is a timeless, tailored fragrance that's very well put together. I know that this used to be the signature scent of Ozzy Osbourne, but if you don't know, number 88 by Czech Speake, this is rose in classic masculinity form. You definitely need to check this out. I don't know who has it. I think you can order it online. My bottle I got from Fortnum & Mason in London, but this is my second bottle of this. I love it. Check out Czech Speake, number 88. Check, check. All right, we are moving right along to fragrance number 5 on the list. This one comes to us from the House of Creed. This is a re-release of a re-release. If you don't know this fragrance, it is one of my absolute favorites. Number 5 on the list here is from the House of Creed. It is called Royal Mayfair. All right, so let's talk about Royal Mayfair. This fragrance was originally called Windsor. It was made for the Duke of Windsor, but because of certain political affiliations, they no longer wanted that connection, and they named it after their Mount Street store, which is located in Mayfair. So that's where it gets the name Royal Mayfair. It was re-released in 2015 under that name. I didn't get it at that time. I had a huge collection at that time of Creed fragrances, and when I heard that there was a new one, I was very excited about it. I remember being at a department store in New York City. It was wintertime. I sprayed it on my skin and on my scarf, and I wore it around the rest of the day. The thing that I didn't like about this fragrance was the rose note. At that time in my life, it's about 11 years ago, I wasn't ready for a rose-based fragrance for my skin. That said, I am more than ready for this fragrance now. So good. In the top of this fragrance, you've got gin, pine tree, and lime. In the center, you've got rose, and in the base, you've got cedar, orange, and eucalyptus. That's the note that I want to talk about the most with this fragrance. We've seen rose mixed with oud, we've seen it mixed with woods, we've seen it mixed with vetiver, but this is a very unique take on rose. You've got it mixed here with eucalyptus. Right out of the bottle, unlike most of the other Creed fragrances where you get that burst of citrus, what you really get out of this, and correct me if you don't smell it, is that eucalyptus note. And it makes it super unique. For me, this fragrance smells like a trip to the spa. It feels like I'm about to get a massage. This is a calming, relaxing fragrance. It's a cool, green, aromatic fragrance, and that eucalyptus, like I said, is key. It gives the rose here a crisp, airy freshness, almost like a barbershop feel. I think this is a fantastic fragrance for men because the rose here is clean and structural. It's not sweet at all. Like I said, that eucalyptus note completely reframes how the rose behaves. This smells refined, it smells polished, and distinctly British. Think of rose in a tailored jacket. If you don't know Royal Mayfair by Creed, it is on my Creed top 10 list. I think it's in the top 4. I think it was number 4 on the list. Definitely check it out. This is one of their best fragrances that they've released in a long time. I don't remember the 2015 version that well, but what I hear is that this re-release stays pretty true to the original. Check out Royal Mayfair by Creed if you don't know it. It's amazing. All right, the last fragrance on this list, number 6, is the reason that there are 6 fragrances on this list. I was originally going to do just 5 fragrances, and I was hemming and hawing about whether or not I was going to include this. But then I thought about it and I really couldn't just put this as a footnote. Fragrance number 6 on the men's rose fragrances list is Portrait of a Lady by Frederic Malle. All right, if you've been to the channel before and you've seen the videos, you know exactly how I feel about this fragrance. This is one of my favorite fragrances of all time. The perfumer here is Dominique Ropion, and what he's created is nothing short of a masterpiece. So what you've got here is dark, churchy, incensey rose. Think very, very, very dark rose. There is nothing floral. There is nothing light about this fragrance. So what you've got in the top of this fragrance is you've got a very deliberate dark rose. There's some spices here. You've got cinnamon and clove giving it a spicy feel, and then you've got a fruity texture with raspberry and blackcurrant. Then in the heart, you've got more rose. You've got Turkish rose, you've got patchouli, you've got incense, sandalwood, ylang ylang. And in the base, you've got musk, benzoin, you've got amber, vanilla, and ambergris. This is a dark, spicy, earthy, dramatic rose. There is nothing floral about this. This is not a delicate rose in the least. When you think of a rose fragrance and you think of the smell of the rose, you think of something delicate, something feminine. This is the complete opposite of this. This has got real depth and it's got real seriousness to it. I love the name of this fragrance. I love that it's Portrait of a Lady, but I feel like there are so many people that will avoid this fragrance because they're going to think that this smells like overtly a feminine fragrance. I can't stress to you enough how great this fragrance is, how serious, how mysterious it is. All of those notes put together, the spices, the woods, the incense, balance off that rose absolutely perfectly. This is a fragrance men should wear because it reads very powerful. It's going to announce your presence when you walk into the room, and people are going to remember you when you walk out of the room. If you don't know Portrait of a Lady by Frederic Malle, this is one of my absolute favorite fragrances, and I can't stress to you enough how important it is that you get to the store and smell it. Put it on your skin, you'll see exactly what I mean. Other than that, if you know the fragrance, let me know in the comments how much you love it. All right, that's it. 6 rose fragrances that men should not be afraid of. I know I've left some out. If there's a rose fragrance that you like to wear, definitely let me know in the comments. Tell me what it is. I'd like to go get my nose on it. I know I have a couple more in the closet here that I could have put on the list. For example, I could have put Charon's Veil by Argos. Really, really well done version of a rose. It's mixed with oud, and they've added saffron, giving a little bit of warmth and brightness to it. Other than that, please let me know if you know any of these fragrances, if you like them, if you have any questions about them, let me know in the comments. I promise I'll respond to the comments, all of them, including the nasty ones. If you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, also give me a thumbs up. Like I said, men should not be afraid of the rose note. Those are 6 fragrances that I think you can safely wear without feeling like you're wearing too much of a floral. All right, that said, that was my 2 cents. That was 6 rose fragrances. My name is Sean. Thank you again for watching. I hope to see you next episode. Goodbye, everyone.